Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. This is the long-awaited Crochet Ruff tutorial, so I hope you guys enjoy it. This is my original pattern. Please feel free to use it though, I would really love to see what you guys do with it. This is an intermediate tutorial, meaning I won't be showing how to do the specific stitches, and you should know how to do the baselines of crochet for this tutorial. For this specific pattern, you will need to know how to chain, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, as well as how to surface crochet and how to make an I-cord. There is a bunch of other ways that you could do closures. I just chose an I-cord for this tutorial because that's what I used in the original TikTok that I made. You will need worsted weight yarn, a 4mm hook, a darning needle, measuring tape, and something to cut your yarn with. Throughout this video, I've also included digitized drawings of all of the layers for anyone that might help. I know I definitely appreciate those visuals, so I thought I should include some. Each layer will be included at the beginning of each section. Quickly, I just want to explain how this is going to be constructed. The base is a tight mesh which will be done with half double crochets and chains, and then after that we will be surface crocheting into all the gaps in the mesh with this like zigzagging pattern. After that we will do an increased row to make it roughly, and then after that is our repeat where you can make it as long as you want to. Lastly, on the ends you will just add whatever closure method you prefer. For this specific tutorial I just did an I-cord. In the description I've also included timestamps of all of the different sections to make navigation a bit easier. I will also put them on the screen right now. With all that being said, let's get started. Here's some tips for the mesh that I would like to note before we begin. The first set of chains will be multiples of 2 plus 4 at the end. When you're making your mesh, make sure that your tension is tight to avoid any gaps. You can do this by either just doing the tight tension, you could also use a smaller hook. Troubleshooting. If you would like your ruffles to end in the same direction, here's an example of what I mean that I drew. It's a really easy fix. We're working with multiples of 2, so the number that you're going to come out with is going to be even at first. But if you split that number in half again, if it's odd, they're going to go in the opposite direction. If it's even, they're going to be going in the same direction at the end. If the number's odd and you want it to be even so that they're pointing in the same direction, all you have to do is add 2 more chains to your foundation. Alright, our first step is going to be the mesh. To get started on that, first you're going to need to measure your neck. Mine ended up being about 13 inches. Keep in mind the closures will give you some wiggle room for making it smaller or larger if you need. So for the mesh, you're going to need a 4mm hook. It's important to do this with a smaller hook to reduce gaps when we work over it. This specific mesh is going to be done with half double crochets and chains. Now start off by chaining to the size of your neck while keeping it an even number, and then add 4 more chains to the end of that. Alright, mine ended up being 52 stitches, and then go ahead and add your 4. Okay, now you're going to place your first half double crochet into the 6th chain away from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to add it there.
There we go. And then you're going to chain one, skip a chain down here, and then add another half double crochet, and just do that all the way. Alright, and then when you get to the end of your first row of mesh, to start the next row, you just chain 3, turn your work, and then just stick another half double crochet into the previous half double crochet. And then you just do this for as wide as you want it to be for this specific pattern. I'm going to be doing 3 rows of this, but again, you can make it as thin or as thick as you wish. Okay, to start the foundation row, all you're going to do is single crochets, chains in the gaps, single crochet, chain. I'll demonstrate that real quick, which is chain, single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain. Yeah, once you get to the corners here, all you're going to do is chain and then just stick it into the next corner. You're just going to follow that configuration all the way to the end. Alright, it just finished and cut my end. After this, all you have to do is just cut your ends and then tie it off, weave the ends in. But this is what the back looks like. This will give us a good base for our increase row. Now we'll be starting on the increase row. For this row, it should be fairly simple. It's just consisting of double crochets, and then on the corner pieces, we will just be adding an increase. I will demonstrate that now, starting by just tethering the red to the blue. I'll be using the same technique as I did fastening the blue to the mesh, which is essentially just a slip knot and then fastening it with like a very tight chain, which I call a fasten knot. Alright, now we'll be starting on the double crochets. For this, it is pretty common for me to see people doing like a chain 2, chain 3 as their very first double crochet for like their rows. I'm going to show you guys another technique that you can do that I do that, in my opinion, just makes it look cleaner. So all you'll do is just pull it to the height of like a double crochet and then put it over your hook like that, put it into the stitch, and then essentially you're just going to treat this like a regular double crochet, just like that. Alright, and then to start this, you'll have your first double crochet, you'll add another double crochet to the same single crochet, and then you're just going to be double crocheting the whole perimeter here. Yeah, just making sure to increase on the corners, which I will also demonstrate For now though, it'll just be double crochet in the chain, double crochet in the single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain. Alright, and now we're at the corner single crochet. I'm just going to put 2 double crochets into that, and then in that chain 1 for that corner, you're just going to put 2 double crochets in there, and then 2 double crochets in the next single crochet. Like so. Alright, I just finished this increase row, and then just fastened it off. As you can see, it is starting to take the shape of that rough outline, I guess. The increase row is going to give you more ruffling in the corners, and that's why we do that. Yeah, just weave in your ends and we can start on the repeat row.
We can also add more increases in the increase row to make it even more ruffly. Here's an example of one I did where I did 2 increase stitches in every stitch instead of just at the corners.
Now we'll be starting on the repeat row. This is basically the end of the biggest portion of this tutorial. I will just be going back in with the yellow. I'll probably do a couple other rows just so that you can see all of the colors nicely. But something else you can do, which I can make like a smaller tutorial on like TikTok or something if you would be interested in that, is you can actually incorporate a bunch of other stitches into this pattern, like this base pattern. For example, here is a moss stitch ruff that I made, which is like this really cool like stripe pattern. I think that would look especially cool with the color palette like this, but yeah, if you want, I could make like a more mini tutorial on like my TikTok sometime with like this specific pattern, but really this pattern lends itself to a bunch of different varieties. We'll just get started. I'm just going to tether like usual, and then all I'm going to be doing is just doing double crochets through the whole perimeter. And again, this is the repeat, so you can just repeat it to make it as long as you want. I am guessing I'm going to do about 2 or 3 repeats. We'll see. I will just demonstrate the tethering and all of that, and then I will be back. Alright, I'll just be tethering it off as usual, like I had said. The cool thing about doing the alternative to like that double crochet, like the first double crochets, is you're able to just kind of work into the loop as if it was like a completely normal double crochet. And in a lot of ways, it really is, which is like the good thing. It behaves basically the same way, it's just maybe a little bit thicker, which I don't think you're able to tell really, but yeah, I'm just double crocheting in all of the previous double crochets, and I will be back when this is done. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, I ended up doing 2 rows of the repeat, and this is what it ended up looking like. I think it looks pretty cool this way. I'll probably do one in the moss stitch in the future. I think that would be super cool with this color palette. Now I will be showing you how to secure, how to do the closures with the Icords. I will be doing it in alternating colors so that I can show you how the rows look. My first color, I will be starting with the yellow, and I'm just going to secure it to the mesh, and then I'm going to add 3 half double crochets. Similarly to the way I do my first double crochets, I'm just going to pull it to the length of a half double crochet and then just kind of, I'm not going to do the twist though. And then I am also going over the tail as I work, as I have been, just because it makes it so I don't have to weave it in later. If you made the mesh any thicker than 3, this would be the time where you decrease until you only have 3. And now at this stage, you would turn your work and then pull up 3 loops. Like so. And now, this may not be the best Icord tutorial. I can do a little bit more detailed one another time, but in terms of changing colors, I can show you that, at least the way that I best know how to do it. So we're going to drop the first 3, making sure you don't lose them, and then you're going to yarn over and pull over that loop you had. This is going to close the I-cord where it kind of makes that shape, so it is more of a cord than a strip. Add another color, just pulling red through those loops. And now you're going to drop those red loops and then close off that row. And now I'm going to actually put back the yellow. It's going to be, yellow is going to break up the blue and the red, if that makes sense. We'll worry about the back in just a second. There's probably definitely like a cleaner way to do it. I don't do I-cords a whole lot, to be honest. All right, now blue. Okay, I ended up doing about 8 inches actually, and I just secured it by taking all the last loops and then just doing like a slip knot, and then I just kind of put my hook through here, like through like the tube in the middle, and then just like pulled all the excess threads out. For the back, you will see this. I'm sure there's other ways you can do this if there is. It's not something I have personally figured out because, again, I don't really do a lot of I-cords. But I am still just tucking in the rest of these ends. Like so. Just kind of pulling them like that. Pull it I just kind of do that. And that's pretty secure. And then since I already crocheted over this, I'm just going to cut that. And that is your I-cord. With this, then you'd be able to just tie it around your neck. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I am going to just do the second one real quick.
And that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really can't wait to see what you guys do with this pattern. I'm sorry that this video took so long to make. I really had to teach myself how to do a lot of new stuff to make this happen, but I hope that you guys enjoy and that this was easy to follow. I would really encourage anyone to please leave any feedback or any requests in the comments. I would really appreciate seeing any of that. I will link my socials as well as a written pattern in the description when it's available. Thank you guys so much for watching.